that if you're ready to feel more in control of your energy, of your mind, body, your spirit, your soul, your mood, your hormones, your health. Assalamu and hello, ladies. Welcome back to the channel. I hope that you are all doing well. I know that there is so much information out there with regards to health and wellness, and it can become overwhelming at times with regards to what's worth trying and what's worth, just leaving alone, what isn't worth trying, essentially. And I'm not here to suggest you overhaul everything overnight or at once, but consider this as an invitation to try and implement something new or eliminate something old from your life that might be causing you to struggle health-wise. Some of you might be pre-diabetic, or you might have high cholesterol, or you might find that you're struggling with your weight. Perhaps, you're finding your weight has crept up in the last couple of years and you don't know how to reduce that weight. Or you might just feel a little sluggish, or that you're moving, slower than usual. And that there's a couple of factors. One, we're all getting older, right? And if you are like me in your 40s, you might be feeling some changes that you didn't know were creeping up, and then all of a sudden they were there. They were like, surprise, I'm here. The belly fat's here, the weight's here, the sluggishness is here. And you're like, well, where did that all come from? And that's part of aging. As we age, our metabolism slows down. But consider that we have to, for the majority of us, we have to actually start paying closer attention to what we're eating and how we're moving. And so, again, consider this as an invitation to start implementing some things. And today I'm going to talk about something that we hear a lot about, but we might not pay too much attention to, and that's anti-inflammatory products. It's things that are going to help us fight that inflammation that creeps up day after day. Now, inflammation is caused by many things. It could be the food that we're exposed to, the environment that we're exposed to. Naturally, we're exposed to certain free radicals in the environment, within our foods, certain toxins, and they cause inflammation. So in order to combat that, we need to find ways to implement habits, or including exercise and walking and exposure to the sun, with, of course, protection, or finding out better ways to implement anti-inflammatory foods into our diet. So I don't want to talk too much, but just consider that food is one of the most powerful tools we have. And I would say at least 80 to 90% of what drives real health change is in our food. Some of you might hear, you're going to the gym, doing all this work, and you're not seeing changes. Well, those changes start in the kitchen. It starts with your nutrition, and that is a fact. That's something I'm realizing more and more as I try to implement new things into my diet, or watch closely what I'm eating. And, I know it takes effort and consistency with these things. You're not going to see these changes overnight, but, you're not alone, and I'm on this journey with you as well. But so just consider that if you're ready to feel more in control of your energy, of your mind, body, your spirit, your soul, your mood, your hormones, your health, that, take it one step at a time and start to track and to keep a diary of what's going on within, your life. And I think that's going to be one thing you consider as we talk about these things, and as I'm going to go through them in the video. All right, so let's dive in. Now, the first item that I want to talk about are flax seeds. Flax seeds, specifically the ground flax seeds, are an excellent source of plant-based omega-3s. They are rich in lignans that support hormone metabolism and help to reduce estrogen-driven inflammation. Now, it promotes gut health, it helps regulate gut health, and it's key for detoxification and immune support. What I would say is, if you haven't tried flax seeds, to consider buying a small batch and trying it out in your cereal, smoothies. Cereal, when I say cereal, I mean your oatmeal or your yogurt or your smoothies. It's a seed, so even ground, it can be grainy and gritty. So you want to incorporate that in something you're already eating, so that you are not put off by the texture of flax seeds. Some of you might not even be worried. You might mix it in something, a hot beverage or something, and you might be fine with that. But consider flax seeds. I like I said, I've taken flax seeds for a while now. I try to be consistent in eating it with like my oatmeal or smoothie. And then also, as a word of caution for those who might want to consider starting flax seeds, but you're not too sure. You might have some health issues that you're not sure if they are contradictory to taking flax seeds. The only thing I would say is that you might want to avoid them in large amounts if you have a hormone sensitive condition. So if you're estrogen positive breast cancer, even though the results are a little bit mixed, clinical evidence that is, you might just want to consider how this will affect you. And also, grounding it versus using it whole is better for absorption, that is, because if you eat it whole, it might just pass through you without any type of absorption. So consider ground flaxseed. If you want to buy the whole seed and ground it yourself, I have a little coffee bean grinder in which I use to ground the flaxseed. But and I also have ground flaxseed at home, so if I'm in a rush, I can just put that in the blender as well. But consider that you need to have it ground, and you can ground it yourself or you can buy it ground. The second item on the list that I want to talk to you about is extra virgin coconut oil. Now, coconut oil contains lauric acid, which has anti-inflammatory properties, antimicrobial properties, and it is good for your brain. It has brain supportive properties. It's shown to support hormone production as well as helping with blood sugar control in small amounts. Now, with oil, any oil, it's always in moderation. There is no backing of any clinical research study that says you're going to get healthy eating lots of oil. That's just not, you're never going to see that happen. So just know that in moderation is what I'm talking about here, so you can introduce it into your cooking bit by bit, and also check for any type of reactions that you might have to the oil. You may not have cooked with coconut oil before, but I would say give it a shot. Try and see how it goes. Know that it has been shown to improve markers of oxidative stress in postmenopausal women, which is a good thing, of course. And also, as a word of caution, because I like to be open here and state that it's a high saturated fat. It's best used in moderation, as I said before. So women with high LDL or cardiovascular risk should actually seek out professional care, or talk to their doctor before trying it. Now, I have high cholesterol, so I use coconut oil in moderation when I'm cooking. I also use extra virgin olive oil in moderation when I'm cooking. I used to use canola oil and vegetable oil, but those things I don't buy anymore. So I do want you to just consider that when you are introducing coconut oil, if you want to introduce that into your diet. Now, the third item on the list is watercress. It supports estrogen balance and detoxification. It also promotes collagen production. You might hear a lot of talk about collagen and skin health and looking youthful if you're eating a lot of collagen and consuming collagen and using collagen topically on your skin. But just know that it may help against oxidative stress. Again, word of caution, it's not recommended in large amounts for people who are on blood thinners, and that includes drugs like warfarin. It contains high level of vitamin K, which interferes with clotting. And I'll list some research below that can help you decipher if you want to look into how these things interact with other foods, other medications, and things that you do within your daily life. So I think it's really important to know that as you are trying these things. Again, I said there's a lot of information out there, so you might be overwhelmed and confused about where to start and how to actually proceed and go about these things. And like I said, in moderation, find something that you're willing to try this week for a few days straight or every other day, and then maybe implement it if you find that it's working for you. Now, the fourth and last item on the list that I want to talk to you about, and I love this item. I eat it every day, which I have found to be doing lately. It's pumpkin seeds, or pepitas. Now, pumpkin seeds are rich in magnesium, zinc, antioxidants. These are nutrients that are actually really low in women over 40. Magnesium, calcium, zinc, vitamin D, antioxidants, specifically the magnesium, the zinc. We really need to start paying attention to these if we haven't already. Pumpkin seeds contains plant steroids and omega-6s that support our anti-inflammatory pathways. Many reduce symptoms of menopause like mood swings, joint pains, and sleep issues. If you have not tried pumpkin seeds before and you have no allergies to pumpkin seeds, I say again, buy a small batch, Try it out try the salt-free kind, of course, because we want to be paying attention to our blood pressure and not be getting into levels of stage 1 or stage 2 or any stage of hypertension. But also know that you could try it in your food, put it in your salad. I think the best place to try it is in your salad, number 1, or in your soups. Really great. It brings like some texture into the food that you're eating. So those are the 2 places that I really put my pumpkin seeds. Measure out your pumpkin seeds. Don't go all taking a handful and a cupful and just throwing it in your salad, because they are high in calories. They are rich in, those omega-6 fatty acids. So you want to measure them. You want to be cognizant of how much you're eating, so that you don't go over your calorie count if you are trying to watch your calories, or if you are in a calorie deficit for weight loss. And that's one of the main caution points. So watch your portion size, and also be careful for managing weight and blood sugar and your salt content. Also, go with the salt free to start with. That should be able to get you going there. And try the roasted pumpkin seeds. In my opinion, I like roasted pumpkin seeds over the raw pumpkin seeds, but everybody's different. So yes, do that, and be sure to try and let me know. Now, there are also some items that I researched that were really good anti-inflammatory property, that had really good anti-inflammatory properties that were not well known or popular, and that includes black garlic or black currants, I think, as well as tart cherry juice. I haven't tried any of those. I think I've tried currants before, but not black currant. But yeah, black garlic, I might try that in the near future, just to see how it tastes. I heard it has a gummy texture and it's sweet, not like our garlic we're normally used to cooking. But these are also things that if you've tried them, they might be working well for you. I might give them a try. But I do, on my list, pumpkin seeds, watercress every once in a while, coconut oil, I do use that in my cooking, that and extra virgin olive oil, and then the flax seeds I generally use in my smoothie. Now, I hope that I've given you some things to think about and to try, but just remember that you don't have to implement these things all at once, and it's not going to look perfect, and you might have struggled with some things, or you might have to give it a go again. Trust me, I am somebody who has left trying one thing and then return to it because I realize it is beneficial for me, and you might have experienced that too, and you might experience that too. So just give yourself a little bit of grace and a little bit of leeway to try these things as you're on your journey to becoming healthier and better. So just stay consistent and stay focused. And I'd love to hear what's been working for you. I think that there's so much information, and you might have found something that's it's one of your go-tos, and it's just really beneficial. I'm going to be making a video on cholesterol because that's something I'm struggling with. My total cholesterol levels are really high, and so I'm about to implement some things that I haven't tried before, which does not include a statin, but we shall be seeing how that's going to go, and I'll let you guys know about that really soon. So anyways, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. If you have any topics you want me to discuss, also leave them in the comments below. I will make a video on it. And yeah, turn on your notifications, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share, have fun in learning and getting some information from this video. So I do thank you for watching, and I shall see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.